Hi, I'm Jeff with Chandler Systems, and today I'm going to take you through taking apart one of our new screw drive control valves. So first, you can go ahead and take off the cover like this, just slides off. And before we get into anything, we always want to take pressure off the system by putting it in bypass and then cycling it to backwash. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. You can cycle to backwash by pressing and holding the set change button or using the Legacy View app. So now that we're in the backwash position and pressure is released, we can unplug the unit. And if there is a 9-volt battery installed, we'd want to remove the battery as well. So now we can start taking things apart. So this new power head disassembles a lot more quickly than the ones you're familiar with. Our older style models had a lot more screws, and you'll see this one comes apart with a lot fewer tools, a lot less screws. So I'm going to start by removing the back cover. Now in order to start removing the power head, I'm first going to disconnect the encoder wire. That's the gray wire here. And you'll see a tab in the front. You can press that in and pull up on the power head, and it'll just come up and off. And you'll see 4 screws here that hold this lower plate down onto the valve body. Before we remove those, I'm also going to disconnect the meter assembly, because you'll see the power cable and the meter cable are both threaded through this plate with these 2 cord grips. I don't want to have to remove those cord grips, so I'm just going to go ahead and disconnect the meter. And now I can take out the 4 screws that will allow me to pull out the piston. With those 4 screws loosened, we can now pull out the piston, and you'll see the whole piston assembly comes out with that plate. Some of the seals and spacers might come out also. Now, depending on what you're doing, you can take things apart further. I could disconnect those wires from the board to disconnect the power head if I needed to. If you're just changing seals, for example, you can go ahead and pull out the seals. Once you get the power head off, the body should look really familiar. It's the same body as we use on our other valves. So from there on out, everything's the same as what you're used to. So if you are changing the seals and spacers, you want to put this end spacer in first. This is a filter valve, so there's no brine piston, but if it were a softener valve, you'd have a brine piston right here like usual. And when I'm putting the seals and spacers back in, we always want to start with a seal, after that end spacer, and just alternate between seals and spacers. You'll have 5 seals and 4 spacers. And each time you insert a seal, just make sure to press down around the outer edge and make sure that it's flush with the top of the ports that are inside that valve body. So I've got the piston assembly here with the end plate. I disconnected the wires from the circuit board, so I was able to detach the power head. When I'm putting this back on, I'm just going to put it down like that. I'm going to go ahead and put the meter back in place. And then I'm going to start screwing this down. As always, just alternate the screws in a star pattern. Now that I've got this screwed down, I can go ahead and snap the power head back into place. And because I unplugged those wires, I'm going to need to plug those back in. All the connections are labeled. When you're plugging in the 2 cords that are coming from the back here, one's for the meter, one's for the power supply, you could tell which one's which if you follow them through to where they go, but also the power supply has a 2-pin connector and the water meter has a 3-pin connector. So when you're looking at those 2 red connectors, it's pretty easy to tell where they go on the board because they're labeled water meter and 12-volt DC power supply. So once you get those reconnected, you can snap the board back into place. So next I'm just going to plug it back in, and it will pick up in whatever step that you left it in. So you can either cycle through the steps back to the home position and then open it up, or you can just let it finish out the cycle Don't forget to open the inlet valve and put the cover back on. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. If you'd like to see more content like this, just drop a comment below and let us know what you'd like to see. Thanks.